Hey guys, Jay Siemens here. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're answering one question. Is Livescope worth it? All right, so we're in the front of my boat. As you can see, I already got a lot going on here between graphs and electronics, trolling motors and stuff, but today we are adding Garmin Livescope to the front. What is Livescope? There's three players in the game now that have live imaging, which is the three big ones. There's Lowrance Active Target, there's Humminbird Live, which just came out, and then there is Garmin Livescope. Garmin has had the technology for the longest. By far, it is the most popular. I have not had the chance to try Humminbird Live yet. For myself, it doesn't, I can't get everything I want to get with one brand. LakeMaster has the best mapping on Lake of the Woods. They have 1 foot contours. The Lake of the Woods LakeMaster chip is incredible. I need that. So for me, it doesn't make sense for me to go straight Garmin across the board. But I think Garmin has the best active imaging. That being said, I haven't used the Humminbird Live yet. I think Garmin is the best active imaging. I put one on the back of my boat in August. I've had a chance to play with that. It's been incredible. I'm gonna talk about more the pros and cons of all that, but I got a second one. So we are gonna take one of these graphs off, which I'm gonna sell. We are gonna mount the Livescope transducer on the trolling motor. Shout out to Princess Auto. That is where I get all my tools, all my bits and pieces, and they support this channel. So I will link them below. If you need any random part or tool, I would highly recommend visiting a store or their website if you don't have one near you. But we're gonna start by taking this graph off and get going. All right, so for both Livescope and for Active Target, the Lowrance version, you need a box part of it. This, you call it the black box or whatever, but this is like the computer behind the Livescope. So this, you're paying around $2,000 Canadian for this black box plus the deucer. So you need a compatible graph plus the box. I've done the pricing with Lowrance and with Garmin. They're both very similar. As I mentioned, I don't have an affiliation. I paid full price for these, but we got some rigging to do. So this black box, we're gonna just tuck underneath the nose here. It's waterproof. It's pretty rock solid, so I'm not worried about it being in the nose. All right, so here you have the transducer. This is what feeds you 135 degrees. So there's down view, forward view, perspective view, which is like looking at it sideways. Your typical fish finder is looking however many degrees straight down, but this is looking ahead of the boat and in real time. There's no scrolling, right? You get that little bit of real time on your conventional sonar with that little bar, the real time bar, but everything on your screen you see is real time. It's constantly refreshing, which is what makes the technology so cool. So there are so many different options and devices out there for mounting your Livescope, and that's probably like the most common question I get asked is, how do you have your Livescope mounted in the back corner of your boat?
This is how I have it mounted. I know I've got lots of questions about it. This is just your transducer board that I mounted. I kind of custom cut it on the corner. This was something Aaron showed me how he had it mounted on his. Pretty clean. I did put a little electrical tape on here just because I noticed when the waves were hitting it, it was actually wearing a bit, depending on how you have it set. Right now I have it set so I can jig off the back and sharpshoot. I can see my lure, but as well when I'm on plane I can see 70-80 feet in front of the boat, which is nice for seeing rocks.
I have it mounted permanently. I don't have it on a pole. A lot of Livescopes you see out there, it's poles you have to deploy every time you drop down. That's one extra step. With me having it permanently mounted on the back corner of my boat, I always have it in the water. I'm always reading. On plane, I can read 100 feet in front of my boat while I'm driving. I can see rocks coming. I can see a weed bed ahead of me. I can see fish. You can do all those things if you put the pole in the water, but a lot of those pole mounts, you can't drive as fast with them, and it's one more step to put it in. So for me being a tiller guy, it's absolutely incredible. If I can only have one mount for most of the year, that back corner is great. But I've seen when there's shallow fish or you're trying to pinpoint fish, well, then having it on the front as well is great. There's also these third-party devices that mount on your trolling motor and you can use your remote and turn around. Maybe I'll get one of those one day. Maybe I'll switch this to a pole mount. I'm not sure, but for now, for the sake of my schedule, I'm gonna mount it onto the trolling motor. I still think that's great. I would say that's the most popular way of rigging it, is just putting it on your trolling motor. The one issue about putting it on your trolling motor is if you spot lock using the GPS, to keep you in spot, you can't do the same scouting and looking around with the motor, right? For now, we're doing it this way. The one thing about this mounting is you could definitely crush a rock with your trolling motor, so you have to be a little more careful because that's a $2,000 hit if you bust this thing off. All right, as you can see, this big bundle of cables. I actually took the 360 off too. Just since I only have one Humminbird up here, I need to reconfigure some of my networking for it to work. So I thought for now I'd pull it off. Maybe I'll put it back on, maybe I won't. This isn't an install video. This is more so just coming along for a little journey, and then we're gonna go to the water and just show you kind of the differences between one or the other. But we're gonna put this box in here. I'm not gonna fasten it down because I'm gonna be pulling it out in winter time. There's so many cables in the back. This is gonna give people anxiety what I just did. All right, and just like that, we're done. We'll talk some more about the pros and cons. The con of it, it is very expensive. You're looking at $2,000 for the box plus the transducer, plus $2,000 for the graph. Like, it's expensive. It's a little bit complicated. You need a lot of extra, battery power. It kills batteries, so you got to make sure your boat is rigged properly, wired properly. But those are kind of the cons. We're going to go in the water. I'm going to show you some of the cool things about this live imaging technology. All right, guys, we got Livescope in the back, we got Livescope in the front, we got way too much electronics in this boat. I know, but we're gonna go for a quick little fishing session. I'm gonna show you kind of what Livescope does, what it shows, and hopefully catch a couple fish. Here we go. Don't forget to try new Catch and Cook Spicy at a retailer online. All right, so as mentioned earlier, the question I get asked so many times, Jay, mounting your transducer on the back of your boat, where do you mount it? Why do you mount it there? I'm a tiller guy. I'm looking at these graphs. This is my office. This is where I like to do a lot of filming. It's easier. It's easy for me to just use the big motor, kick in reverse, stay on top of the fish. As mentioned, I have it mounted right over that back bottom corner. Right now, if I just had Livescope on my trolling motor or on a pole, I'd have to get up, make sure it's dialed in perfectly. I know right now that my Livescope is perfectly mounted in the back corner of my boat. So if I roll up on some fish, I can drop on them instantly. The nice thing about the trolling motor is you can turn. Right now, if I want to do a scan of an area, I need to turn my boat. And right now, as my nose swings, we'll overlay this footage here, it's scanning. So your max imaging range is about, I don't know, I think like accurately, I often keep the range set at like 100 feet or 110, 120 feet. So there are some fish. Look at that. I'm zooming in. Right there, there's a pot of fish under us in 24 feet. So now, I can keep on these fish. So they might be walleyes. I'm not sure. I'll drop the Alabama rig on it. I'll be surprised if I get bit. But now, I'm gonna stay directly on these fish. I'm not losing track of them. I can see them on the Livescope. I'm dropping this big, massive rig. You can see it dropping down there. I'm not sure what they are, but you can see my lure going up and down. And all of those red blobs are fish. Now I'm gonna try something a little smaller. So now you've seen what fish look like. I'll show you what some fish interaction looks like. Drop shot some gulp, an easy way to catch fussy fish when you don't have bait. All right, so another con of Livescope is my eyes are glued to this screen way too much, and Sam has complained about it. I understand, like it's addicting. It is video game fishing, and the thing is, it will show you fish, it'll show you how the fish are relating, but just because you're seeing a fish right underneath you, doesn't mean there isn't a fish relating to the same, weed line or whatever, 5-10 feet away. So yes, it's great to see the fish eat your lure, but where there's one under your boat, there's probably another one a little ways away. So don't be afraid to, focus beyond just what you're seeing here. Let's focus on some positives of Livescope. One of the coolest parts is you can actually determine the size of the fish. If you see those little numbers along the top, you can see that they're 1-foot grids. You can even turn on a grid setting, and you can see if it's a 2-foot, a 3-foot fish. Look at this fish on the right coming in. Ooh, this looks decent sized. Ooh, this looks big. Oh my goodness. He just swung at it. This might be a lake trout. This might be, look how big that fish is. Oh my goodness. Got him. Oh, what is this? Oh my goodness. Are you ready for this? I don't know what we have right now, if it's a walleye or a bass. It's a big school of fish down there. Ooh, that's a nice walleye. So that fish, we video gamed below the boat, and there was a lot more of that size. Awesome. And I don't want people to think that they need Livescope to catch fish. No, you can still use the 2D. You can see that there's fish down there in 14 feet. You can see those little bumps. There's fish. We're on top of them, but you can't really tell how many there are and how they're spread apart. when you see a fish disappear on 2D, you don't know if he's like looping around to come back and eat your bait or just swimming away. Now you can actually see if that fish is in a scared mood, hungry mood. There's a big mark on me right now. You just learn the personality of the fish, which I find is so cool. Like ice fishing, you catch one crappie out of a school, the rest of the school spooks. Or you're ice fishing in super shallow water, and all of a sudden you talk a little bit louder, you kneel down, and the fish spook. As well, I know I'm getting really excited right now, but like things that I didn't know happen, like lake trout. I thought a lot of the time lake trout just came in by themselves. And after last winter, I saw multiple times where there'd be 2 or 3 lake trout that would come as a pod. And it just gives you an understanding of what and why the fish are doing. It's more than just seeing them eat. It's like, oh, that's why he did that. Or, oh, he's holding on that specific boulder. I didn't realize that, you know? Ooh. He just spooked. There's another one coming. Oh, he just ate it. Oh, I lost him. Look at that, you can see my bait falling back down. And there's another fish coming for it, 2 of them. Once again, I can't see my bait perfectly right now, but I can tell that there's fish darting around and doing weird fishy-like things. There he is, here he is. Yes! Oh, I lost him again. Look at him swimming back down. Come on. Isn't that wild, guys? Look, that fish that I just hooked swam. Oh, look at the other guy coming in. That was absolutely bonkers. I'm gonna get eaten right now. There's an individual fish I'm trying to catch. Okay, 2 of them actually. There's my bait dropping down on the right. Look at him charge for it, both of them. Oh, wow. See that fish just racing along the bottom. Well, that might be what a lot of the smaller ones are. It works. Oh, here we go. Ooh, that's nice. Oh, he darted away. He's gonna come. Oh, he's coming back. Yes, yes. Oh, that was cool. It's a decent fish. Oh, I love it. Nice. There's something about watching that fish's reaction, his mood as it changes, and just seeing, you know, what they're willing to eat, what they're willing to chase. Now we're gonna try Livescope on the front of the boat for the first time, and we'll try to catch some smallies a little bit shallower, same spot, and hopefully we're gonna see them in front and I can cast to those individual fish. But as you can see, it's pretty amazing technology, and as I've said multiple times, it's just a learning tool. And just seeing how those fish are potted up, like they're in very tight spots. There's the saying that 90% of the fish are in 10% of the water or whatever. Like seeing stuff like that is pretty eye-opening to how fish act and how they pot up. And I mean, no fish, no fish, no fish, and then all of a sudden there's 10, 15 walleyes in one spot, right? So anyways, we're dropping in the front Livescope and we're gonna give it a shot. I'll probably turn off the back so there's no interference and see how it goes. As you can see, I have Livescope going with the GoPro rolling. So the big difference here is when I turn my motor, I'm scanning, and this is like one of the coolest applications which you do in ice fishing all the time. But as I turn my pedal, it's turning and scanning the area for fish, which is pretty wild. I'm gonna keep scanning and maybe we'll find a fish. So there might be a fish there. I saw there's a fish, maybe, yeah. There's a boulder and there's a fish swimming right across it, 25 feet. I'm gonna zoom in here a little bit. You can see him just between the boulders. So whichever way my trolling motor is pointed, that is where that fish is, hopefully. So if I have this dialed, I'll be able to see my Alabama rig. There it is. You can see the rig swimming through the water column. And I can't see the fish right now. I kind of lost my, oh, there it is. There's my rig swimming through the water. Wild, wild stuff. That maybe wasn't the best bait to try to target that fish, and maybe I'll tie something smaller up yet. So there's fish like right under us right now. I'm gonna just try to drop down. Oh, oh, oh. Look at them chasing. I wonder what they are. Oh, I just missed him. Oh, there's a bunch of fish. I'm gonna get that drop shot going again. So there you can see my weight and my bait above it. Oh, look at that fish. He's going after the weight. Oh, he's gonna eat. Oh no! This is so cool in shallow water. They ate the bait again, or the weight, sorry. They ate the weight again. Look at that. Oh, there's fish right underneath. Oh my goodness. That was so cool. tiny little lake of smallmouth, but this is just another tool that I'm going to enjoy, and I want to share with you guys too. I know I get lots of comments in the winter about seeing the Livescope cam, and I know when I watch fishing video, it's so cool to see the interaction of the fish, but there's more fish down here, so we're not done yet today. So while the motor is turning, because of Livescope, look at that fish. Keeping the bait right under the motor, I can still see the lure pretty easy. If I was trying to cast further away, it would be tougher to see my bait on the screen, but another very small mouth. And he pooped out a tapeworm. You can see the walleyes again just in front of the boat. There's a crayfish on my weight. You guys ready for this? Talk about sensitive rods these days. Anyways. Oh, he hit it. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh. We're on the eaters. If you guys are looking for more Livescope info, if you have questions, I would check out the Livescope Addicts Facebook page. Just an amazing resource, because I don't think I'm a Livescope expert by any means. I have had, you know, a year now to play with it, and I'm learning, but there's definitely an amazing resource there. So I'll link them below as well. I'm really looking forward to musky fishing and doing more bass fishing with Livescope. Obviously this vertical stuff is cool, but that's what I've done the most. But now I think having it on the front, it's gonna be a lot more conducive to, you know, casting out a bucktail and seeing a muskie fall it in and all that cool stuff. So very excited about that. Oh, this guy's gonna kill it. There we go. Not big, but we're ending it off with a fish. Verdict on live imaging, Humminbird Live, Livescope, active target, whatever you might be using, it's incredible technology. It's to the point of, yes, it's like dangerous. Back to the original question, is Livescope worth it? Yes, I think it is. Just like any of the technology, like side imaging, like everything, the price is gonna keep dropping. Right now, you're looking at $4,000 Canadian for the full kit. You know, I think once they can get rid of that black box and have all the technology inside of the unit, which I think the Humminbird's units have, then it's gonna be a different game. All of a sudden it'll probably drop to half the price in the next year or two. So, I mean, do you need to get Livescope right now? No. If you fish a ton and you're always looking for that extra little edge, live imaging is definitely that edge, but don't let it stop you from enjoying the outdoors by going fishing, by enjoying this beautiful, well, it's kind of smoggy, this beautiful lake. Anyways, guys, shout out to Princess Auto once again. I'll link them below for always helping me fix stuff, rig stuff up, and don't forget to wear your life jacket. See you guys next time.